Hi there, in this screencast I'm going to show you a little bit about my countdown feature. So the countdown feature, I copied a lot of my code right out of the button bashing game. As you may recall, when there was a countdown at the start of the game. It's a little trickier because I have to go into countdown mode in between, once the goose has collided with a chicken, and if he still has lives remaining, I need to throw the game into countdown mode again, and then when the game ends and there's no lives remaining, I have to make sure that I go into finished mode and not the countdown mode. So getting it all to occur in the right order was just a little bit tricky, and your situation may be different, but I'm just going to show you what mine looks like. So you'll notice that I made some sounds for the countdown mode: the beep, the gun, and this extra life bell is for when they get an extra life. And then I think I made some text uh, items for the countdown. Yes, on your marks, get set, countdown, and go txt. So those are my text objects. I actually then in the constructor, I instantiated text objects with the appropriate messages, and as well as Greenfoot sounds and assign those to the Greenfoot sound variables beep and gun. All right, so now in the act method, where I just had if game state equals start up running or finish, just like in the button bashing game, I added an else if for when the game state is in countdown mode. Oh yes, and I also have this countdown variable that I created and stored at the top, or created as an instance or global variable. Let's see, it's somewhere around here. It's an int variable. Score, lives remaining. Yes, countdown right there. And I gave it an initial value of, I think, either 350 or 400 in the constructor. Yes, I gave it a value of 350. So the first time when the game starts, when they press S, it throws the game state into countdown mode, and in countdown mode is constantly displaying the lives that are remaining, and the countdown variable goes down by 1 each time, and when the countdown variable is in a certain range, it displays, it causes the beep to occur, and then displays the appropriate image, or the text object, I should say, the message to the user. And then finally, when countdown goes down to, let's see, greater than 50, it plays the gun as the go text object, and then almost immediately after that, it removes the text object. And finally, it throws the game into running mode, and then the game runs. Okay, now what happens when there's a collision with the goose? So if you go into my goose class, or a collision of a chicken and the goose, I should say. If you go into the goose class, you're going to see that when there is a collision, so when the game state is running and it's checking for a collision, which is right here, first of all, it changes the state of the game to goose falling. So this is like a little intermediate state where it decides if it should, where the goose falls, and then finally, when the goose is on the ground, it decides, well, should I go back into countdown mode, and that would be the situation where I had lives remaining, or should the game be over? So here's the code right now that makes the goose fall to the ground as long as his height is, he hasn't reached a certain height, which is 150 pixels from the bottom. Finally, when he hits the ground, it checks to see if the lives remaining is 0, in which case it throws the game state variable into finished mode. If the game state, or if there were lives remaining, What does it do? It subtracts from the lives remaining, sets the countdown text object to 5, displays the lives, and sets the countdown variable to 350, and then finally changes the countdown state, or the game state, to countdown. All right, so I hope that was helpful. You don't have to make it quite so sophisticated as that, but yeah, that kind of makes your game, or makes my game, I think, work pretty well, so that the user has a breather in between the time that their life, or they collide with the chicken, and they restart the game with a new life.